The next one for proofreading is dimensions. This one's really important. They all are, but this one you can really, I like things done a certain way for dimensions, and so let's just go to the foundation plan. So if the person before you finished the plans and they went through this checklist, the dimensions should almost all be 100% perfect. But if, it's easy to either get interrupted or you take a phone call and you lose your flow or where you're at, and maybe you miss one. So I just work systematically when I do it. So I do all one side of the house, like say the front, then I'll do the left side and the right side, and then I'll do the back side, the rear, and then I'll do the inside. So I work from the outside toward the inside. So I'm looking for an overall dimension first, and I'm going to make sure that they're actually on the actual wall. And then I look for the major breakdowns. So the next major breakdown is separating the house, which is this box, from the garage, which is this box. And so I have that breakdown. Zoom in, zoom in. Already did that. And then the next breakdown is breaking down this house portion into foundation, outside corner to the porch corner to the next corner. And that looks even. That looks correct. And then I would do the same with the back. Now the back, you got a porch here with some posts, and I always do the center line of posts. So let's just look at this one real quick. So the outside dimension, I'll double check that it's the same as the front. It's 58.9, 58.9. The next breakdown would be these three big sections. I actually could have a section that would be this 21 feet, and then the next section should be this dimension, but this will work. The next dimension should be the combination of 14.4 and 23.5, and then that one would break down into these two, but we'll work with what we got here. And then beyond those breakdowns, we have this breakdown here, which is from the outside. We're basing that this is the foundation, so this is the only time we would go to the outside of brick because it's on a foundation, because there is a stem wall under there that we are measuring to. So we go from this outside corner to this corner to this corner and over to here to get that breakdown. Anything else is center line for windows and doors, so that would be this string right here goes from an outside corner to the middle of a window to the next outside corner, and then from that corner to the center of that door, and then to the outside corner. The other dimensions on here, want to make sure we have an overall width of this pad, and then this pad is in some way reference to the house. It should be over to this corner, which see the dimension line is going way into the corner. It should be out here, so there's a space between the corner and the dimension line. And then center line of all of these piers and footers. So this 5'5" goes to the center line of that pier. This 7.5 inches finds the center line vertically here of this line from this corner over to the beam, not to the beam, but to the center line. And then, and I'm noticing now that this beam needs moved over because these beams should be on the center line like that. So I will adjust those. And then this line, this is hidden from that center line to this center line to this center line, and then the balance is 7 inches, which takes you to this outside corner. And then I always have dimensions on one typical pier in this case. All right, so like I said, do the top and bottom and the side all at the same, all together, and then I will do the insides. The insides, all foundation dimensions go to the outside of the wall, like these go to the outside of this wall. These actually These do not have to go to the outside of the wall. If you did, that'd be fine, but this is a garage separator wall from unexcavated to excavated, so that's fine if you did it like this. These ones go to the outside of the wall, and you are locating the staircase. So if you take a look at that, you'll see how that's all dimensioning the staircase, and then these are dimensioning the floor drains, which actually usually takes place up on the next floor. Those should be up here. I'm not sure why they're in the basement, so that has to be changed. Floor drains and their dimensions are always up on the first floor. So first floor, same thing with front and back. On the sides, usually there's if there's enough room on the drawing border, we can do outside most dimension, and then the next breakdown, and the next breakdown, and then usually before we have the center of window or center of door dimension string, I will have a dimension string like this one that has all the rooms. That would be on the outside of the building if there's room, but we're kind of tight on space here, so this was our last dimension string, and I just found a place where we could go vertically through the house right there. Same thing with this one. If I put this dimension string on the outside of the house, it would just get real busy, so I just picked a nice clean place to do it through the center. Here's another one through the center. Just look at the whole house and think about building it, and if you needed to locate a wall, do you have a dimension to tell you how to get there? And just think through it systematically. Up on the second floor, I'm going to need an overall dimension on this side. You can see that this side does have these room-to-room breakdowns. I like to keep the room-to-room breakdowns separate from this dimension line. These are all 18 inches. These are all 18 inches apart. So, truthfully, this one should go all the way out to here, and that would be redundant because we have it right there. So let me get rid of that. Actually, I don't like to have if a dimension is on one string, it doesn't need to be on more than one, especially if it's right next to each other. So since this dimension string is going from a corner to, it's dimensioning all the center lines of the windows, I don't like having that. It just can get confusing. I don't like having it on the same line where the purpose of that dimension string is breaking down this 10'5" dimension. So again, up on this floor, I got a couple places where through the center of the house there's a nice clean there, and right here across the center. Anytime where you come to a situation like this, I prefer that a dimension doesn't cover up a door like this, so you could either just slide that over. Now it's covering up the sink, so I would probably slide it over to about there and then just turn off the fill. You get the best of both worlds. I try to avoid this kind of thing where it's where it's going through another node or something. Sometimes something like this will happen, and I'll just slide the dimension off center. So just look closely. This is a little bit confusing here. You got this angle dimension, and this is coming right into it. So just sliding it slightly away so that it's separate, distinctly separate. That helps. So yeah, if you look at every dimension string, you'll find little things like this. I would move this off of that. There's no reason for this to be running through this 208, so I'd go and would find that that space object and move this down into closer to the center of the bathroom vertically there, and just go through each. Like I said, work systematically from the outside to the sides, and then through the inside, and just think again how you're just stay in a section and just look at everything that's being dimensioned and make sure that everything is accounted for. Also on first floor and second floor, we're putting dimensions in that locate the stair, the hole that is in the floor for the stairs. So make sure you have dimensions for that.